You're listening to the Youth Critic Podcast on KHZ Network. Find us on Facebook at DecibelUNG Radio and find us on Twitter at DecibelUNG. If you like this episode, please leave a like and comment on our iTunes page at KHZ Network. And now for the podcast.
Like Queens?
Singapore, Colin's wedding. Don't you want to be my family?
I hardly know anything about them. Every time I bring them up, Nick changes the subject. Maybe his parents are poor and he has to send them money.
We'll take our bags and get you checked into first class.
Nick, we can't afford this. So your family is rich?
We're comfortable.
That is exactly what a super rich person would say.
I want money.
1.2 million.
That's what I want.
The Nick you're dating is Nick Young?
Yeah, you guys know them or something?
Hells yeah. They're just the biggest developers in all of Singapore.
That's what I
Damn, Rachel. It's like the Asian Bachelor.
These people aren't just rich. They're crazy rich.
Oh, you really should have told me that you're like the Prince William of Asia.
That's ridiculous. Much more of a Harry. Mom, this is Rachel Chu.
She just thinks you're some, like, unrefined banana.
No. There's a few things.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Youth Critic Podcast. I'm your host, Kel Smith. Joining me today is Andy Comer.
How's it going?
Patrick Campbell.
Hello, it's good to be back.
And Gina Aversa.
Hey, good to see you again, dude.
Awesome.
It's good to see all y'all.
I know, I miss you guys. This doesn't happen very often anymore. We're all far too busy for this.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like I'm still the only one out here doing this a couple times.
Trust me, and if Andy and I could, we would be podcasting every day together.
Seriously, me and him talk about that so much.
Yeah, every day. Every day is us going, why aren't we doing this together? And I still really believe it's coming. It's coming. Andy and I are going to get back together soon, I promise.
I would listen every day.
Yes, schedules just suck, especially being so far.
Yep.
And different time zones.
Yeah,
well, there's that.
definitely.
Yeah. So today we're going in the midst of a controversial weekend because of Telluride. We're going to go back and look back at all the controversy and all the cool stuff that happened in summer 2018 rather than review Ken or Searching or Operation Finale. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to look back at the summer in 2018, and then we'll end the show with our preview and thoughts on the upcoming fall award season and holiday movie season. So with that, starting with you, Patrick, what was your thoughts on the summer?
This summer was weird, especially because when it started, we went out the gate at the end of April because, yes, summer starts in April now. Thank you, Fast and the Furious. We started with Avengers Infinity War, and from there until July, there was nothing that lived up to what Avengers Infinity War threw down right at the beginning. They literally threw down the gauntlet, pun fully intended. And the summer was not nearly as successful after that, in my opinion, in quality of film. However, the general audience clearly disagrees with me on that because this is the best summer we've had in quite a few years. It's one of the most record-breaking. It continued to pour in money for almost every film that came out. Sorry, Solo, you were not picked. But for the most part, it ended up being like, I enjoyed some of the movies I saw. For the most part, most of the sequels outside of Fallout and Infinity War were fine. It was just a weird summer, but I mean, we were bookended with really great movies, which was what was so interesting. It was like everything else in between was good, fine, all right, but it was the bookend that mattered.
Gene?
Yeah, I would agree on that statement. I feel it was just I don't know if it was like a lot of films were disappointing and didn't live up to the hype. Well, Jurassic World, there's another one. Solo, yeah, so for sure. Like to, but
was Solo really hyped though?
Was Solo what?
Was Solo really hyped though?
I think a little bit. It was like pretty. I don't know. The Super Bowl trailer kind of got me a bit hyped for it. I'll admit to that.
Okay.
I feel like the movie's best trailer was the fan-made one to make it like Star Trek.
Oh,
with
was
the
that?
Beastie Boys.
Oh, with Sabotage.
Yeah, I think that was the best trailer, and that wasn't a good sign for me. And everybody knows how I feel about that, how Solo turned out. So I won't go into that. But I just feel like the hype wasn't nearly as hyped as any other Star Wars movie that's come out since I was alive.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're still insinuating like outside circumstances about the Solo thing, though. Too.
Yeah.
I mean, whether we like it or not, unfortunately, the internet gave people a voice, and the voice that people decided, as Kevin Smith said with Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, is that they want to bitch about movies. And the Star Wars fans are some of the worst about that, and post Last Jedi have ruined the conversation about Star Wars for a lot of people. And I think Solo, unfortunately, coming on the heels of that, faced that the most.
Yeah, definitely.
Unfortunately, that's true.
Yeah.
But just on the thought on the summer, yeah, it was just. I would say I would agree on the bookend thing, but it was just very, just mediocre. Like it was just randomly mediocre, I guess. Where there would be like a good movie, like Deadpool 2, and then there would be like in between Avengers and then Deadpool 2, there was just nothing. And nothing really came out, or like in between like Incredibles and like the next great movie was just like a mediocre movies like Sicario or Jurassic World or just terrible like Gotti.
Well, was Gotti really, supposed to be?
It was a hit put out by the critics, according to MoviePass. But
of course,
I digest. But yeah, no, I just felt that it was just very inconsistent, and there wasn't any sort of good trend throughout the summer. It was just very inconsistent, and it felt. I don't understand the how much it made, because it was just like, it just felt like there was too many mediocre films where I would, there was a lot of films I liked for sure, like Mission Impossible, but just all the mediocre crap that came out just makes me hesitant to say it was like a great summer. Like last year's, I felt was spectacular in all the films that came out in the summer.
Andy, go ahead and say your thoughts.
The summer, like going on, I like box office numbers type stuff. Yes, this is a record-breaking summer. But realize, holy crap, really? I haven't looked at the Infinity War numbers in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Did that?
Yeah.
How was that movie at 20 or 2.8?
2.8 billion?
Yeah.
Yeah, it passed it globally a couple of weeks ago. I mean, it's just been going.
I have not looked at that number in months. I've always just seen it at number one, but I haven't looked at the worldwide number. How did it jump up $800 or $700 million without me noticing? Holy crap! That's insane. I'll have to look into that. Sorry, I just got that really threw me off a lot. Okay, but yeah, the with obviously that number plus Incredibles and Jurassic World, like any summer is going to look good with those three films. Throw on top of that, we have Deadpool. Black Panther did last a long time, so that helped the summer. Fallout, which is making a lot. Ant-Man, maybe Ready Player One a little bit. But then we have all these like little hits like Hotel Transylvania. Rampage didn't do bad. The Meg is doing surprisingly well. Like, it doesn't surprise me. The reason that I found this summer really disappointing is because, like I was talking to you guys earlier, I just haven't made it to it. Like, a lot of movies haven't got me excited. They're just, the trailers aren't doing a lot for me, and like the movies I am seeing, I'm enjoying, but like a lot of duds. Especially, I know I'm personally like really hard on comedies, but I feel like people haven't been responding to the comedies like they usually do. and that's hurting a lot of the summer's reputation as well. I believe.
Sorry. I was just gonna say, coming off of Andy's point, it's really interesting. You bring up stuff like the Meg. The Meg is doing really, really well. He's completely right. And also look at the outliers. Ocean's 8 made over $100 million here domestically, and is actually, I believe, the highest grossing Ocean's film to this point.
It is.
Which is really, really fantastic, and it's actually a pretty good movie on top of that. You also have Crazy Rich Asians, which really capped the summer, as I was talking about with the bookends. Again, within 3 weeks, has made over $100 million, all Asian cast, which is really, really incredible, and it was a good movie to boot. So there was a lot of these little outliers outside of the bigger blockbusters, and I think that there's more of a story to that than the blockbusters themselves.
Yeah. And going on to the comedy point, I think it also shows that the comedy genre, like, we didn't really know a lot about Tag until literally the summer was upon us. And then it was the same way for Happy Time Murders and Crazy Rich Asians. And am I forgetting any other comedies?
There wasn't a ton this summer. I mean, Game Night came out in March, so that was pre-summer, but for the most part, there wasn't a lot. Wasn't there an Amy Schumer comedy that came out?
Oh yeah, she always has that.
In April.
She always has like a comedy come out around that time.
Yeah. Oh, Life at the Party. I forgot about that movie.
Yeah, we all did.
Yeah. And technically Book Club with Diane Keaton is a comedy, but I mean, and that did surprisingly well as I saw the box office results. So as far as comedy goes, I mean, it was just dry because there wasn't that many, and then, I mean, in Tag, it's a fine movie, but it's kind of more of a rent it. It's not really that special of a movie.
I did rent that actually.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, I got to see that before it left theater. I liked it more than I thought I would because I was really hyped for it for a while, and then all of a sudden everyone started talking about how it's not as funny and all that stuff. But like, there's a little twist in it that I didn't really agree with, so I get the people's not liking it as much.
And the CGI arms too.
That's insane. That is absolutely, because I forgot about it until halfway through the movie, and I'm like, wait, I completely forgot. It's just insane that that's even possible.
So yeah, and then as far as box office goes, I totally forgot that, or I didn't know that Avengers had almost made $3 billion. That's insane. Like, someone really should double check and make sure that's actually accurate, because that, I mean, Box Office Mojo is pretty much right all the time, but that's insane. That it almost.
Don't forget, we just had that big Marvel marathon that's been going the last few days too. So that could be playing into the uptick, because I know a lot of people went to see all the Marvel movies for the 10th anniversary.
Are you talking about wait, what are we talking about right now?
With Infinity War and the numbers.
Okay, go on.
Well, I was just going to say, every time you re-release a movie, the box office receipts will go up because they add it to whatever it's previously made. So with it still, number one, it's still playing in certain theaters right now. Like small theaters, but it's still playing. And after this last weekend with the 10th anniversary screenings of all the MCU movies, it's probably playing into it too.
I really think that this is a typo, because I'm looking at Mojo right now. I'm hitting the all-time tab. On the overall worldwide, it still says Avatar. And then I click on it, and then Avengers is above Avatar by like $50 million. But it still says rank number 4, even though it's above number 1. So I think
I wish it was above Avatar.
I do too, but I really feel like somebody screwed up and this is a typo, because like $700 million came out of nowhere.
Sure.
And that $700 million in a couple weeks without anybody noticing is insane. So I really feel like this is a typo. I really want it. I want it to be real. I want Avengers to be above Avatar, but like. Unless like they were tracking it wrong the whole time and then they just adjusted it, like that's the only thing that makes sense. Because there's like no news reports that it's number 1 all time. Like it just seems really weird.
Maybe it's breaking on the Youth Critic right now. Avengers made $2.8 million. This is the highest grossing movie of all time. Woo!
Yeah.
You're probably right. It's probably a typo, but I mean, there's no way it could have snuck past 2.5 billion and no one, bat an eye. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And to be over, okay, to take to take Avatar by over $40 million, it like without anybody reporting it seems impossible.
Yeah, it's probably a typo if it's trying to say that it's over that, because there's no way it's over Avatar at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I know for a fact that it made over 2 billion, but
Yeah, it's over the 2, but it's crazy that no one announced that it made it past Star Wars or Titanic as well. So because that's like it would have to pass that way before Avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but going into it, I mean, going into what you were saying, Patrick. Infinity War kind of knocked everything out for a little while, for a pretty big while. I mean, Deadpool 2 is technically a success, but that was kind of a different kind of movie. Solo got knocked out. I mean, even worse than I thought it was going to be knocked out. I thought it would make at least $600 or $700 million, but it's barely crawling up to 400 right now. So
let's be real, the Meg is making more than Solo at this point.
I think that has happened.
Which who would have thought that?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't have, but at the same time, I mean, good for the Meg. Yeah, that's great for the movie. I mean, I guess I underestimated just how much people wanted a giant shark movie with Jason Statham, but I mean, here's what was very interesting about that is that we did learn this summer that it doesn't matter what the brand name is, it's probably going to make money. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom got much worse word of mouth than the Jurassic World, the first one, but it still managed to make over $1 billion.
Yeah,
and will continue
shocking
to do so.
me, but yes.
Yeah.
No, so it's funny and strange and weird to me that Star Wars, of all things, puts out a movie that doesn't do well. And I mean, to be honest, all things considered, I liked Solo more than most people. I understand that people who don't, but at the same time, it's a Star Wars film, but it also showed a chink in the armor for Lucasfilm, which will be very interesting to see how they move forward from here. Because, as it turns out, people apparently aren't always going to be game for Star Wars. And again, going back to what we were talking about, the Last Jedi stuff really plays into it too, for better or worse.
I agree, because I think so too. I mean, even though I was there opening night for Solo as well, but I think the issue was very much so that I think people were just kind of tired of the discourse, and they're kind of, I mean, just as the DVD comes out and we get a whole new wave. I mean, we're still talking about The Last Jedi. It's been 8 months and the Plinkett review just came out.
Oh God.
Yeah, someone needs to take away that dude's platform, because
I don't know about that, because it's just like
no, I know. I mean, I'm frustrated. Sorry, I just don't like his criticism.
Yeah, no, it was a totally just invalid criticisms throughout that whole thing. I was told I would not watch that whole thing, but it was just like, man, that was it just felt like it was just riling up people again, and they didn't really care that all the discourse that came before them, and they were like, oh, let's put out this video.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of the Plinkett thing. He waits like 8 months, and then and then they drop it. But still, it's like we're still talking about Last Jedi, and then of course, as the DVD's coming out, I mean, we're getting Solo again. And Solo was kind of maybe not as controversial as The Last Jedi, but it still got a mixed reaction. So, and Patrick, you probably, I know you do love it, or really like it, but honestly, I think they kind of, with Solo, Ron Howard pulled a miracle in that the movie was watchable, but that's about it. That's honestly how I feel.
And again, as I said, I mean, it's fair. I understand why people don't enjoy it. Me, on the other hand, I like that we got a very different type of Star Wars film. I've wanted a Star Wars film that was basically a Western in space for I don't know how long, and that's exactly what I got. For better or worse, the movie doesn't work as it should all the way just because it's clearly a Frankenstein's monster, but it's one of the cleanest and prettiest Frankenstein's monsters I've ever seen. Probably the best one since Frankenhooker, so.
Well, it's better than Justice League, so.
Well, right, exactly, and that's what I mean, is like when you consider we had Justice League in November, which was barely passable. And I say that as someone who was surprised I enjoyed that movie even a little bit with all its problems, but Solo I enjoyed quite a lot more. So it's just interesting that all things considered, it's actually better than watchable. I think it's a much better movie than it gets credit for.
Yeah. What? I don't know. It's just, I think Lucasfilm kind of dropped the ball on Solo and they fell into kind of the same trap that their former leader George Lucas did with the prequels, and that it got prequelitis where everything must connect to these movies. And Patrick, I agree. I want movies that are different or outside of Star Wars, and that's what Rogue One was, and that was actually really good for that. However, the problem with Solo is that it feels like it has to be like, look, look at how, and it's just like at a certain point you're just like, I just want to see Han Solo just do his thing.
See, but I felt like I got that movie. Maybe that's just me, but I felt like I got that movie of Han Solo being Han Solo, and I didn't think it fell into most of the pit traps about what, sure, he met Chewbacca, and yeah, we got the Kessel Run. Maybe we didn't need the Kessel Run, but I thought for the most part, we avoided most of the pitfalls of how things came to be. I mean, when Han gets his blaster, they don't really call attention to it. He gets the blaster, and that's that. I mean, yeah, there's going to be things that feels like you have to do, but I mean, they avoided a lot of the normal tropes I think a lot of prequels fall into.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion.
Yeah, but they still had scenes like where they give him his last name, where it's like, you're alone.
Okay.
Solo.
I have a theory about that.
Okay.
I hate that scene. But I think that was a Lord and Miller leftover, and I think that Lord and Miller were actually going to lampoon, in a way, origin stories and how things are. That seemed very Lord and Miller to me. And that seemed very much in their wheelhouse of their comedy and the way that they handle things. When you look at the Jump Street films, when you look at Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, when you look at the Lego Movie, like that felt very much like their irreverent type of humor.
Yeah.
For better or worse.
Yeah,
And
but that also shows why they got pulled off the project then.
No, I don't disagree with you. But I'm saying that's what it felt like. I mean, they literally have the Imperial March playing in the background when it happens as music at the station where people are being recruited.
Okay.
So that very much feels like a leftover to me.
All right. So not to get back into the Solo podcast, but so what other movies were standouts over the summer?
No, for me, I felt one of the best films was Hereditary. Really enjoyed that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's not like summery type film, but I really enjoyed that, and pleasantly surprised by Teen Titans Go. That was like one of my favorites. Teen Titans Go to the movies.
Yeah, I mean, July itself was a big surprise because I even liked Skyscraper quite a bit, and I thought, and I wasn't the biggest fan of Teen Titans Go. I think if you were going to satirize DC heroes, you go with the Lego Batman. But I mean, overall, July was just fantastic from beginning to end. I mean, Ant-Man and the Wasp, say what you will, it's a really good chase movie. It's a really fun movie. even though it has a meandering ending, or it doesn't end quite well, I should say.
Mhm.
I think that we're also, don't forget, we had Upgrade. Upgrade was a really great surprise,
of course.
which I really, really enjoyed. I thought that was really fun. Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again is one of the most delightful films of the summer. There's something about celebrating and just being joyous and kind of fun in light of everything that's going on, and that movie's done very, very well for itself as well. Of course, we talked about Fallout and some of the others, but I also want to give shout out to Won't You Be My Neighbor. That's still my favorite movie of the summer right now. And I think that it's also my favorite movie of the year. I think it was a really great documentary. It did incredibly well for a documentary. And it was a really good movie.
It is a great movie. It's in my right now I have it at number 6 for the year. It's definitely a feel good movie, and it's a movie that I feel with all the hate type of stuff that we've been talking about, and everybody sees online and just in the world, like I think a lot of more people need to see it.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. But yes, going back to Upgrade, that was the biggest surprise of the summer for me, because I typically like Lee Winnell as a writer, but this one I felt like was him putting his mark as a director in the action sci-fi genre. So, and I loved every minute of it. And the fact that the movie bombed, it does hurt, because that means we probably won't have anything else of Lee Winnell from the sci-fi or even a sequel. But still, it's a good movie. It's worth it.
The movie was never given a chance. It didn't get a lot of marketing, and it didn't, because of that, the limited release did shit and then never expanded. Like, I never had it near me. I have it on my shelf right now because I bought it because of all the good word of mouth, but I didn't have a chance to see it anywhere near me.
Wow, that's interesting, because it was at my local theater, so interesting. But yeah, so starting with you, Andy, what was your favorite top 5 movies of the summer?
For the summer, right now, my movie of the year is Infinity War, and Fallout's right behind it. Deadpool 2, Won't You Be My Neighbor, and Incredibles.
All right. Patrick, do you have a top 5?
Yeah, I think that I can definitely give you that. So, one last one that I want to bring up before we go into that. Searching. Searching is really, really good, and one of the standouts of the summer as well, and I hope people go see it. And I didn't love Unfriended. I thought Unfriended was fine, but I thought this was a really great use of it. My top 5 for the summer, though, are Won't You Be My Neighbor, BlacKkKlansman, Fallout, Infinity War, and The Incredibles 2.
I would like to note I still need to see BlacKkKlansman. I plan on seeing that.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's really good. And Patrick, I have not seen Searching yet, so I'll check it out sooner than later.
It was pretty good. I saw it as well.
Yeah, I enjoyed it way more than I was expecting.
Yeah, I will definitely check that out. Gene, do you have a top 5?
Yeah, I would go with. I'll also go with Infinity War. It's not much to say more on that. But I would also number 2 would probably be Hereditary, then Incredibles 2, followed by Hotel Artemis, and Teen Titans Go.
All right. For mine, and then we'll talk about it, each other's top 5. But mine are Infinity War at number 5, number 4, Upgrade, number 3, Crazy Rich Asians, and then number 2, Sorry, I'm blanking. Mission Impossible Fallout, and then number 1 is Three Identical Strangers.
I have yet to see that.
That's my number 1 of the summer. Three Identical Strangers, just kind of starting it off, it is such a great documentary, and I highly encourage everyone to see it. I didn't get to review it for the show, but it's, I mean, one of the best documentaries I've seen just in general. And for my listener and for everyone out there, go in as cold as possible. Like, yeah, you pretty much get the plot already of the subject matter already, but there is so much more to it, and it's phenomenal. But yeah, so where do Terry, which I don't really think is that great. I don't think it's as good. I don't think it's that great, but how does everyone else feel about it? Because I only heard that once, and that was kind of the big horror movie this summer.
I only saw Hereditary, and honestly, it didn't do much for me. It was well made and everything, but like it didn't resonate with me the way it did with a lot of people.
Yeah, I wasn't huge on Hereditary either. I was a little bummed out about that. I did like the first Purge, though. I know not a lot of people actually ended up going to see it.
I saw it.
I actually enjoyed it a lot. I thought that taking it down to the basics, again, talking about prequels like we were with Solo, I thought that the first Purge actually did a good job of kind of dealing with what we're looking at as a society now and what the idea of the Purge could be. And I think that's why I've liked the last 3 movies so much more than I like the original, is I feel like we're really dealing with something that feels unfortunately so real. And I know that that's actually why some people, I know Perry Nemiroff over at Collider specifically has talked about, is that part of the reason that she doesn't like the franchise as much now is it feels too real and it doesn't feel fun anymore. But I'd argue that that's part of the reason that it works, is the social commentary is so strong on it. And I thought that by giving it a very diverse cast, it very much got overlooked for that, actually. The first Purge had a very diverse cast. I thought it had some really great action beats. It was really well staged and crafted from the ground up. It was a really nice surprise, actually. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by it as well. You know, I didn't think it was too real, but sometimes it was kind of too on the nose at times.
Sure.
Yeah, I have not seen any Purge movie since the very first Purge movie, and I think I have to kind of agree with Perry here. It's that, or take her aside here, because to me, it's one of those it's a franchise that I just cannot see myself ever enjoying, because it just feels too, maybe not fetishistic, but it kind of just feels a little bit like, you know, like apocalypse porn at this point.
I don't know if I could agree with that, and I think that you should probably watch it before you say that, just because I think that I get where you guys are coming from a little bit, but at the same time, I feel like the point it's trying to make is very much the opposite of what you think it's saying.
Okay.
At least in my opinion, because I think that, especially when you get to election year, the whole idea of one person trying to stand up against a tyrannical government on the things that they're doing, and the government trying to, again, very on the nose, obviously, with the stuff that we were dealing with, but that we have to stand to try to make things right, and what the lengths one person will go to do that, whether it's one government official or one government official and one bodyguard in the middle of that night. And there's just something about it to me that just makes sense. And I think with where we are as a nation right now, that those movies are a little bit more important than we might give them credit for.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Sure.
I was gonna add, just going back to Hereditary. Why didn't you guys like it? Like, I'm legitimately curious.
I thought it was a fine family drama for the most part. It's just, for me, I didn't really get into it. Like, the slow build was a little too slow for me.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time everything comes together, like, I felt like I'd seen this movie before. When it was all said and done, all the performances are excellent. It's very well directed, but it just never captured me in the way that I was hoping it would. And I think that A24 is really doing themselves a disservice as selling every one of their horror movies as the next scariest horror movie of all time. Because they've legitimately done that with The Witch. They've done it with Hereditary. They've continually been doing it with their films. And as someone who loves horror movies, I'm waiting to
you can't continually have the scariest horror movie every year.
Right. Yeah. And on top of that, when you sell it that way, I'm expecting a horror film. What I got was a family drama about dysfunction, and that's fine. But everything else it was a horror movie by accident more than it was on purpose. And I maybe it's just me. And again, going back to The Purge, maybe that's why I enjoy those movies so much, because they're very upfront. This is the movie that you're getting. Hereditary felt like it wanted to be one thing. And
I feel like it's like a kind of a mystery. They rely too much on kind of mystery box marketing.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I kind of I don't know. But then if they don't market it like that, who's going to go see it? This is kind of
it worked.
Yeah.
It worked really well for its first weekend, and then it dropped like a stone the next. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm glad people enjoy it. It just, for me, as someone who loves... I love a slow build horror film, like The Exorcist. But it just...
I felt it was like Exorcist, where it was a drama at first, and it made you care about
I just like things like The Exorcist more. Hereditary just didn't click with me.
Okay.
I am going to watch it again, though. My roommates and I were talking about it because we were actually watching The Conjuring this weekend, and it made him want to watch Hereditary again. I am going to give it another chance. My opinion could change now that I know what the movie is.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I'll say I didn't watch any of the trailers for Hereditary before seeing it, so maybe that helped me out a little bit in my expectations.
Honestly, I thought the trailers were on point, but they were also super silly.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought they were super silly in how serious how serious they were about their material. And so for me, the last couple months leading up to it, it felt I was like, I'm basically, I guess I'm gonna want that A24 thinks it's scary. And there were some unintended comedy moments in Hereditary, or maybe for me, I was like the only person laughing. But
okay.
But I just I kind of agree with Patrick, because The Witch is kind of the same thing. It's a psychological drama that's that looks like a thriller horror-ish movie. And then really to me, and maybe this is subjective, the scariest movie they've put out that's a horror movie is It Comes at Night. And that was, to me, their scariest film, because it actually was like it's basically an allegory of civilization falling apart in the midst of an apocalypse. So that was, for me, what was more scarier. So I don't know, maybe, I just kind of, with Hereditary, I just kind of felt like, I had seen this before. And actually, Patrick, we have seen this before. That ending is straight from Paranormal Activity 3.
Right, and that's what I mean. So it just felt meh. I wanted to like it. But I think the word of mouth and the hype just, again, when you start trying to sell me on the scariest movie of all time, or at least of the year, I'm expecting something great, and it just didn't live to that for me. And as someone who, I don't know, Gene, you were at Comic-Con, but did you go to the Universal panel? I don't remember.
No, I did not.
And I know we're going to be talking about our fall picks in a little bit. But one thing I will say is the clips or the scene that they showed us from Halloween is infinitely scarier to me than anything I saw in Hereditary. And I was more unnerved watching that 3-minute clip at Comic-Con than I was the entire time I watched Hereditary. So, I mean, that to me tells me everything that I need to know. And again, maybe I just lean more towards horror being in your face a little bit more. But,
Okay.
Yeah, Well, here's the thing. We get promoted every few months. This is the scariest movie ever. I remember it just basically its marketing was like, if there was ever a movie that was marketed to be like the scariest movie of all time, it would be it. And even that, I was like,
yeah, it was. Yeah, it wasn't as scary. Yeah,
it's all right. Okay movie. It's fine. I don't know. If you are going to promote for me, I am kind of I've seen a lot of horror movies. If you're going to promote yourself as the scariest movie of all time, you better come out guns a-blazing.
I mean, I really love it. So, again, I think this is really speaking strictly to my taste. But I'm a big fan of atmospheric horror. And I think that's why I'm so in love with things like The Conjuring and The Exorcist and Insidious and Jaws and these very atmospheric films that really are also a little flashy, I guess is the best way to put it. Hereditary never it tries to be atmospheric, but instead it just drags. And I don't want to turn people from not enjoying it. I don't want to try to change anyone's mind. I'm so glad Gene likes the movie, and I hope that is abundantly clear. It just, for me, my horror movies need to be... Look at Annabelle Creation. Annabelle Creation ended up being a great horror film last year. Surprisingly, again, talking about prequels, I don't know how we keep getting back to this, but that movie is legitimately fantastic.
Okay.
It's really well directed. It's really creepy. Another one by David Sandberg was Lights Out. Those are the kind of... And that movie is like an allegory about depression and things like that on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
And Lights Out is really, really, really great. So those to me are the kind of horror movies that really draw me in. And I think that that's where Hereditary lost me, is I also just didn't like the characters in Hereditary that much. I liked the acting, but I didn't really enjoy the characters. I mean, there's just... The son is kind of an asshole because the parents or the mom has always kind of overlooked him and treated him badly. And the mom is fucking crazy. And the dad is just a giant fucking asshole too. And then it just, it never works for me. Because
I don't think the dad was an asshole. I think he was just kind of absent-minded.
He just didn't care enough to do anything.
Right. And so...
And it's frustrating when you're... That's frustrating when you're someone like me that's a screenwriter. You have to make your characters do things.
Sure.
You have to make them all count or cut them out of the movie.
Right. And he had no place in the movie by the time it was done. I mean, yay, he caught on fire. That was supposed to be the big moment, is that he caught on fire. And I just didn't care. And that's kind of my whole thing with the movie, is by the time it was over, I just didn't care. Yay, Payman is alive now at the end. Great.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It just felt like I don't know. It felt like more of a tragedy in the ending, where it's they couldn't really change anything from their curse. So I don't know. I felt like the ending really, really did it for me. Even if the characters weren't as likable, I guess just kind of the ideas that it presented.
Yeah. And hey, like I said, man, if that's how it makes you feel, I'm really glad you enjoy it. It's just, for me, I need to care about things more.
Okay.
And I just didn't care about the characters in the end.
Yeah.
Okay. So, to kind of wrap up the summer thing, I have one more question that's movie related, and that is, what did we think of Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom? Since that was the other big successful movie.
Oh, I'll say it right now. I hated it. Like I just really did not like that movie.
Anyone else want to chime in?
Yeah, Andy, go ahead. I'll chime in after.
That movie, I didn't care for the first film, Jurassic World. This one was even worse. It is it's on the last or the fourth worst right now for me for the year. It just, nothing works for me at all, and I realize that that's because it builds off of something I didn't like in the first place, but nothing really works for me at all except for like some of this, like the thrilling or like the haunted house stuff, which at first didn't do anything for me, but after like thinking about it and like I think it was Patrick, maybe, I don't remember, somebody was talking about that, and I started thinking on it more, and like working at a theater, I can pop my head in and I watch it and I can see how that stuff works, but it's still the film as a whole just means absolutely nothing to me. I don't care about any of the characters or where this story is going.
Yeah, because it is me who was talking about this with you, is that I don't really enjoy the movie. I like it, parts of it in spurts. I think it's really well directed. Jay Boyona directs the shit out of the film. Yeah. The problem is that the script is completely garbage. Colin Trevorrow just can't write. There's a reason he was let go from Star Wars Episode 9. I hate to break it to you.
Yep.
Like, yeah. I mean, I there's a reason he was let go. And so, because of that, this movie falters at every conceivable level as a film because it's 3 different movies at one time. And they're all fairly interesting in their own right, but they never come together cohesively. And the only part that I was really into was the third act, because it was the time where it really felt like Bayona was making the film he wanted to make, where it became a haunted house movie. And I thought that was interesting, all things considered, but I just don't care. I mean, this whole retconning thing with the idea that there was actually a secret silent partner who built the park that we never heard of until now, and then it turned out that he had cloned someone and he had committed this unthinkable sin because his daughter died. That's all interesting, but it doesn't have any place in the movie by the time it's over.
Yeah. And I'll also say, like, I heard that, the appreciation for all the, the haunted house scenes and all the scariness, but it's just like, it's like surrounded by all this just boring crap of the movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just like I don't care to sit through that to get to like these cool parts. Like, I really don't. It's just like, I'm okay.
Right, and I completely agree. And that's what's so frustrating is, how did we get here with this franchise?
It's so it's just so all unoriginal too. Like you said, it's like 3 different films. 2 of those 3 films are like rehashes of films that we've already seen in this franchise already, because it's basically a mash of Lost World and Jurassic World, and then throw a little haunted house at the end.
Well, and also it gets so Roger Corman B-movie-esque in the middle that it's insane. And I don't hate the movie. I think it's actually better than Jurassic World. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of just with this franchise where I'm like, when the most interesting character of this movie is Blue.
Yeah.
Like, that's the most interesting character. I think you kind of screwed up.
Yes, on one hand. On the other hand, I kind of like what you're saying in that regard, because I like that we actually care about Blue, as weird as that sounds, because
he's our Caesar.
As so often we get these monster movies where the director or the writer has no idea how to make us care about the monster. And I think that that's where some of those movies falter, is they forget you need to care, if that makes sense. And so these movies do that surprisingly well. But here's the thing. The setup is fine or whatever for what they want to do next. but I have absolutely no desire to see the sixth one because I can't trust Trevorrow's going to deliver in any sort of way.
No.
I just don't. I can't trust him as a writer. I can't trust him as a filmmaker. And from the stuff I heard about what was going on behind the scenes with episode 9, thank God he didn't end up making that movie because I can't imagine what would have happened.
Yeah, it would have been a disaster. It seems like it's just he just seems such a weird guy that just look at Book of Henry.
Mm-hmm.
That's like his seeing into his mind.
It was his passion project too, all things. I'm really trying to understand too. Like, I know Spielberg really believes in him as a filmmaker, and I'm trying to figure out why. And I know that sounds mean, but I just don't see it. I love his first film, Safety Not Guaranteed. I do. But outside of Safety Not Guaranteed, I don't see it. And I mean, you literally handed the keys to Jurassic Park to him, and I can't figure out what he's trying to do with this franchise at this point. Like, I don't understand. Maybe we're trying to move away from what those original films were. I get it. You can only go back to the island so many times. But at the same time, do we really care about living with dinosaurs? Like, we've seen the Flintstones. I mean, that's what this is. This is what we're leading to is the modern day equivalent of the Flintstones. And I just don't care about that. I just can't understand the point. What are the dinosaurs going to start breeding? If not, people are just going to go kill these dinosaurs, and that's the end of the movie. Like, I just don't understand. It just doesn't make sense to me, and it's really unnecessary where we got.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Colin Trevorrow has great ideas for movies. Like, if you take all the ideas wholesale for each of these 2 movies so far, they're really good ideas on how to take the franchise. The problem is the execution and how the story unfolds to kind of connect everything together. Because I kind of like the idea of now we're going to kind of get a planet in the third one, but it's all at the cost of very lazy screenwriting when the characters themselves are too stupid to live. Like, that's my thing. You have to make you have to make it acceptable for the human characters, like, their decisions make worth it, which the Planet of the Apes movies did. Like, that's something the Caesar trilogy earned. They earned by having the humans themselves make very credible decisions while also somehow allowing the ape or Caesar's, pack Caesar's tribe kind of come into to the foreground. So, yeah, I feel like Colin Trevorrow, good luck on Jurassic World 3. But, Patrick, I want to hear those ideas. I want to hear those stories after this podcast of episode 9. Okay.
Yeah,
I hear those.
I can definitely share with you after we get off of this. I just don't want to say anything that could get us into trouble later.
Yeah, we'll save it for later. Okay, we'll save those if it becomes okay to ever talk about them. So we'll save those for later. But yeah. So before we move on to fall, I know we're going a little over, and we'll kind of go through the fall a little quicker. But does anybody have any final thoughts on summer?
It was just a weird summer overall. It had a lot of little good movies, 3 great bookended type films, and a lot of weird stuff in the middle.
Yeah, I'll agree to that. That's pretty well summed it up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Disney, you did a really good job this year or this summer, because I mean, even after Infinity War, I still really liked Incredibles 2 and Christopher Robin and Ant-Man the Wasp.
And Solo.
So,
woo! On my island.
Okay, maybe not Solo. On your island. On your little island.
I would gladly sit on this island.
Tell us how it is with Matthew Fox. But yeah, so it was a really good summer. I wished. Yeah, I think that's the thing is it could have been better. And 3 years ago, if we were looking at the summer as it is now, we thought this was going to be like the summer to end all summers.
Yeah, you had
But
Infinity
then,
War, you had all this.
But it kind of wasn't. So I think that's kind of what permeated a lot of that. So yeah, I think, yeah. Anybody else?
Nope.
All right. So let's get into fall. Now that, we're in award season and now every movie is controversial and every movie, now has to be 100% patriotic and now every movie has to be 100% normal.
What do we categorizing fall ending by?
Probably the
December.
end of November.
Oh,
And like beginning to December or end of December?
I was just thinking I was going to include Aquaman in that in my list later, but I mean that's fine.
Because to me,
why would you include
winter.
Aquaman in what you're excited for?
Hey,
How
I want to see Aquaman.
I want to.
He needs his due after being.
Jason Momoa is riding a Mesosaurus into battle. I want to see that movie.
Have you guys looked at the poster in person?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a good poster.
Dude, it gives me a migraine.
Are you kidding? It looks great. It encapsulates the entire movie.
I can do better. I hope not, for your sake, because that is the worst photoshopped poster I've seen in years.
Oh my.
No. Anyway, the only thing I was going to say is that Christmas is not fall. That's winter to me.
Okay.
So I think for me, it's like August, or the end of August, September, October, and November are normally what I would consider fall as we move into the winter.
Works for me.
Yeah. All right, that's fine.
All right. Sorry, Kale.
You're fine. No, it's fine. There's like 8 movies I'm looking forward to in October. Like there's like 8 movies I'm looking forward to. So yeah, it's fine. But Patrick, starting with you, what are you looking forward to in the summer? I mean, fall, excuse me.
I mean, I already really tipped it off at the beginning. The first thing I'm just overly excited for at this point is Halloween. Halloween is arguably my favorite horror film of all time next to Psycho. And I love the cast. I love the crew behind the scenes. The Danny McBride writing this movie with David Gordon Green. It's crazy, right? And yet the trailer is effective. It evokes all the perfect emotion out of me that I've been wanting as a fan for a long time. Because I like the sequels to varying degrees, of course. But there's just something about this that is so interesting to me. And I think if this movie hits and makes money and is critically well received and the fans enjoy it, expect this movie to be the precedent for Alien moving forward and some of these other franchises that are just kind of sitting in limbo. Because
Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I mean, there's very good chances that the idea of we want to move forward with a franchise, but we want to forget what came before, and how can we do that? This movie, if it does well, will be the thing that really sets that in motion. So that's a very interesting thing that's really kind of brewing up. I'm also very much looking forward to Wreck-It Ralph. I really love the first one. I think that the marketing already playing into all of us going, why isn't it called Ralph Wrecks the Internet? Like, they're very much playing into that already. The marketing's been really great. The Disney Princess thing is fucking hilarious. And I just can't wait to see it. I think that's going to be a ton of fun. I'm really excited for The Predator. I know that seems to be the unpopular opinion right now, but anytime Shane Black puts out a new movie, it's fucking Christmas. So I'm really excited.
This one's Halloween, apparently.
You know what I mean, Gene, but you're not wrong. It is still a holiday.
Yeah,
but
no, of course.
I mean, we should treat every time Shane Black puts a new movie out as a national holiday.
Yeah.
Just my opinion. It's Shane Black. That man has done no wrong in my eyes. as a director, and very rarely has he let me down as a screenwriter. So I'm very excited about that. And I'm excited for Fantastic Beasts 2. I know that the first one is not super beloved, but I'm very much looking forward to seeing where it takes the franchise. I think that there's a good chance that this will not only be better than the first movie, but I think this also sets us on the right path for what this series can be moving forward. I think that the cast looks really great. I think that outside of the Johnny Depp casting, which I get it, I really do, I understand. At the same time, I'm hopeful that he gives a performance that is worth the character. That's really what's going to matter once it's all said and done. I really believe in J.K. Rowling as a writer. She shaped so much of my childhood. So to live in this world again, to be in this world again, there's always something really special about that. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
Well, let's we'll get to everyone else in a second, but I do kind of want to jump into Halloween for a bit because Halloween is kind of interesting in that Halloween could easily be like what Creed in The Force Awakens is for the Halloween franchise, in that it's soft rebooting the entire series going forward. And I hope it does, because if that works, then the Friday the 13th franchise could easily pop back up, or Nightmare on Elm Street could pop back up. And honestly, I know we're kind of getting depressed with cinematic universes and franchises just all merging into one studio, but I wouldn't mind if Halloween works. I wouldn't mind Jason Blum producing all of the 80s slasher soft reboots.
You would be surprised that that's probably closer to reality than you might think.
Well,
they just need Nightmare on Elm Street.
I think, and now maybe I'm wrong just because of how I've been looking at stuff and what I've been hearing, but I think Nightmare may have reverted back to New Line and WB. And I think that's why Warner Brothers is putting such a push on Freddy and Jason at their Halloween horror shenanigans that they're doing at the studio for Halloween time. They're the front and center push, if you will.
Wait, what? Wasn't Friday the 13th the one that actually did go to Paramount, or the New Line goes, or the Nightmare goes somewhere else?
I think Nightmare was at Platinum Dunes, because Platinum Dunes did the remake of Nightmare. I don't know if New Line did it with them. I can't remember, because I only saw it once and I'll never watch it again. But the rights are very weird on that whole situation between Friday the 13th and Nightmare. And so that's why I think it's a weird legal thing. That's the best way I can put it. That's why things have been so tied up, and we haven't seen anything. We haven't had a Friday the 13th movie in almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years.
Yeah, in almost 10 years, we haven't had a Friday the 13th movie. Like, really let that sink in. It really could be simplistic, but it's all a legal thing right now.
And it's shocking because the Friday the 13th remake was actually really good.
And it made money.
It made money, was really good, and I can't believe that they dropped the ball and not having a Friday the 13th the 13th Friday the 13th movie come out in 2013.
That was a missed opportunity there,
to say the least.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, Paramount had it for a while, and they were almost gonna, get the movie going.
Yeah,
because
they had some really terrible ideas.
Okay.
You just to be fully transparent, and I know that a lot of this is known, but they so badly didn't know what to do with the franchise. They were going to go down two separate routes that didn't need to be. One of them was the Friday the 13th origin story about Jason, which we didn't need. We have a comic that was done by Mark Andreyko that was more than enough about that. And then on the other side of that, they were going to do a found footage film, which doesn't make a lick of fucking sense when it comes to Camp Crystal Lake. We did not need found footage Jason. I am so fucking happy that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I knew a guy that did a good fan film of that, actually. Like a found footage film for.
I think.
Well,
yeah.
are we talking about Never Hike Alone?
Yeah.
Is that the one from last year? But it wasn't. It wasn't really found footage. Like, he had a handheld camera, but they were legitimately going to do like Blair Witch style, just like a cheap production for the sake of a cheap production.
Yeah, because
I mean, I would not want to see like that. That seems kind of boring.
Because Never Hike Alone was really, really, really good, but it felt cinematic, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Whereas what they were planning would not. And this isn't a dig at Blair Witch. Obviously, I really love Blair Witch, but Blair Witch is Blair Witch for a reason. Paranormal Activity is Paranormal Activity for a reason. Jason is Jason for a reason. We don't really need found footage Jason. We can do anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just kind of how it, to me, that's how I see it.
Yeah, and some of the other films you were talking about, I am excited about Wreck-It Ralph. I am excited about. I am a little excited about Fantastic Beasts. Yeah, it's. But yeah, I mean, out of that, Halloween is like the one to look out for because there's so much potential, and this probably could be the one time where they finally get it right after so long. Because I hate to be the controversial one, but I don't really care for Rob Zombie's movies, and
there's nothing controversial about that. They're garbage.
Some of them are good. Like one or two.
I just don't like any. I don't like any of them.
You don't
Rob Zombie
like
completely
any
misses
Rob
the
Zombie
point.
movies?
Oh wait, I thought we were just talking about Halloween.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, that's what I.
Okay.
Sorry.
I thought we were just talking about. I thought we were just talking about Halloween, but then Gene said like I like a couple, like one or two of them. I'm like, then I thought, I'm like, wait, did I mishear something where we're just talking about all of the Rob Zombie?
Yeah, I got confused because I thought we were specifically talking about Halloween.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, there's nothing controversial about it. His Halloween movies are garbage. Like, they're bad movies.
I like the first one. The second one is I haven't seen in years. I need to rewatch it.
He totally misunderstands what Halloween's supposed to be and how scary the idea of Michael Myers is. So, but that's going beside the point. Yeah, so Andy, what are your other picks for the fall?
For the fall, I pick The Predator because it's The Predator. Are all the trailers out for that now?
I guess.
Yeah, they did. They did the final one. Yeah, a couple days ago.
I haven't seen.
It comes out in a week.
I haven't seen any of the trailer. It does.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
It comes out in a week.
Can't believe that. But yeah. So I haven't seen any trailer since the first one. I've just been avoiding because I want to see as little as possible. So I'm excited for that, even though the trailer wasn't great, but it's Shane Black, like Patrick was saying. What else am I? Bad Times at the El Royale.
Oh, yes.
Nice.
I can't believe I forgot about that.
That is my most anticipated film for the rest of the year. I am more excited for that than I am for even Halloween. Speaking of which, Halloween, because Halloween is my sixth favorite movie of all time, regardless of genre or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
The original Halloween is one of my favorite all time. First Man, despite all the stupidness that's going on right now, I am super hyped.
And
then
A Star Is Born. I forgot about A Star Is Born.
I'm not crazy for it. Like I'm interested, but I'm not crazy for it.
Yeah,
and Bohemian Rhapsody, same. I'm interested, just not crazy because of the stuff that I've heard about them, like completely, avoiding all the AIDS stuff. Basically, well, not all of it, but like not having it be like a prime thing. But during the fall, the last one I'm like super jacked for is obviously Creed 2.
Yeah, Creed 2. Yeah, that's I think that's going to be great. Like hands down.
I'm actually surprised we haven't gotten more marketing for Creed 2 yet. I mean, it comes out in November. We're not that far away from it. I'm just a little surprised. That's all.
Well, to be fair, I mean, they started filming, or when the first trailer dropped, they literally had just stopped filming. So, and that was 3 months ago, maybe 2 months ago. So, I mean, they're probably editing another trailer. It's just, I mean, they're editing the movie as we speak, because this one kind of got rushed into production.
I think it's going to be test screening soon too.
Have you guys seen the poster?
Yeah.
Okay, the poster with him standing in front of the Roman numeral 2.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at it from a distance, it looks like he has like a Marge Simpson black fro.
It's a very interesting observation, but
I didn't notice it. The people I work with did, and then now they keep talking about like anytime that they see it from further than like 20 feet out, that's all they see.
My dear God.
Yeah.
But the reason why I'm excited for Creed 2 is because while it is sad that Ryan Coogler is not coming back as the writer-director, the thing I will say about the Creed franchise is if this franchise becomes like a jumping off ground for people of color filmmakers, I'm so for, Ross Stapleton Jr. coming in and taking on this franchise, and then for Creed 3, another person of color coming into directing the third movie. It's just because I feel like there's not many franchises to where directors that are coming from Sundance can jump off and then do, they can do one mid-range budget movie and then do a $150 million movie. I think. So if we can keep the Creed franchise going, I think it has potential. So, and also the Creed 2 trailer rocks. Like every time I see it, it just gets my energy going.
You've got loyalty inside your DNA.
Yeah. It's awesome. But yeah. So in Creed, and that's also kind of surprising because it's also technically a Warner Brothers movie as well, and it's coming out the week after Fantastic Beasts. So
yeah, but it's still counter programming.
Yeah, but then again, fall is just packed. If anyone's noticed, I mean, you mentioned Bad Times at El Royale. We still have not gotten another trailer of that movie.
There's going to be one. We did. We got another one last week.
Oh right, yeah, I forgot. But yeah, well, really with Fox, I wanted to ask you guys this: ever since the merger's kind of now been finalized, do you think that Fox is just kind of at this point until the money pours in, they're just kind of mildly marketing their movies? That's why we haven't gotten anything from Dark Phoenix. Why Alita hasn't really gotten a big push? They've just kind of been mildly marketing it.
No, they're not marketing those movies because they're both testing so fucking poorly. That there's no easy way for me to say that Dark Phoenix is anything but a giant dumpster fire right now, and they're trying anything they can to save the movie, but it's already well past that. Yeah. Everything that's going on with it is fundamentally bad from the ground up, and that's going to be the thing that you just aren't able to fix unless you're going to reshoot the entire movie.
Well, that's fine to say that, but I mean, you have to look at Alita and
Alita tested poorly too, whereas El Royale they're pushing, and El Royale I've heard may actually get an Oscar campaign. Like Fox is going to put money into it.
Okay, okay.
I mean, I'm just telling you from what I understand is that they know that with Dark Phoenix and New Mutants they overplayed their hand. They now know, especially because Deadpool 2 didn't do better than Deadpool. They also know that the only thing for them moving forward is going to be they're just going to consolidate these characters into the MCU anyway. Why waste the money? They're already going to take a loss. I just don't see Dark Phoenix recouping its money unless they really change the movie.
When do you think it's going to be released, though?
It'll
Netflix
be released
2020.
Yeah.
It'll hit its February date for better or worse.
Yeah, well, I mean, what I mean by the mildly marketing is because the Predator also really hasn't had a good push, and then I mean, we're just
never marketed Predator well. Historically, they've never marketed Predator well.
Well, do you think it's just because it's hard to market that kind of movie, or do you think it's just they don't know how to
I feel
sell?
like people know what Predator is about, so it shouldn't be that difficult.
And yet, I think Kale nails it. I think Fox just doesn't have a clue. Look at Alien Covenant. They clearly didn't know how to market Alien Covenant either. I mean, this is Fox has a growing trend when it comes to their genre films not knowing how to sell them.
It's yeah, and it's odd that you say that but then again, Deadpool 2 also had like a decent campaign, and that's technically.
But that's also Ryan Reynolds.
Okay,
yeah,
fair enough.
Which is very different. So I don't think Fox is really waiting on the Disney thing. I just think that what they have right now, they have genre films. You have The Predator, Alita, X-Men, and New Mutants. New Mutants, they put a trailer for out and then pushed the movie back an entire year.
A year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like that's insane. And so this is it's just bad. It's just bad leadership. If anything, if you knew that New Mutants was testing poorly, you don't put out a trailer for it if you're going to push it back.
Well,
especially a trailer that actually made people excited, kind of. And you're also selling a movie that you didn't make. I mean, it's a whole thing.
Well, not to kind of get off track here, because I mean, all of this is really good. But the thing about New Mutants is they literally released that trailer before they had a cut of the movie done.
That's not true.
Oh, they did?
I know people who saw it. It test screened before we saw the trailer.
That's incredible because, I mean, that trailer came out literally like the week or two after they finished filming. That even makes it even worse because I'm like, are you sure about that, Patrick?
I am 100% positive. I can't say any more than, but I know people who have seen both movies, and I know exactly why both movies were pushed back.
Okay. We'll rest the case when those movies come out. But yeah, it's just for me. I felt like Fox is just kind of not putting as much money into their films as they should be. I mean, like we should be excited for the Predator should be selling out tickets the way as excited as we are, but because they're just now like releasing like red band trailers and whatnot, it feels kind of like they're kind of hiding it. So that's why I'm a little dubious of the Predator. But then again, we'll know Thursday night if it's any good or not. We'll know because that's when the first screening is a TIFF. It's showing on Thursday at their midnight thing. So anyway, Andy, did you finish your fall thing? Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
I
finished with Creed.
Mine.
What?
I was going to say mine.
Go ahead.
So, First Man, despite all the controversy, I could throw it out there. I'm going to try to see that on the biggest screen possible because that warrants that extended price. And Halloween, of course, and Overlord looks pretty cool. Not gonna lie, I'm glad it's not a Cloverfield movie.
It looks really good.
Yeah, and really glad it's not a Cloverfield movie because I'm just tired of Abrams pushing that on all these films he's producing. And mid-90s, that looks cool.
Oh yeah.
And not Venom.
Yeah, fuck Venom.
Not Venom at all.
I still can't believe that movie's a real thing, you guys.
Yeah, right? It's not a fan film or something like that.
You know,
I was less than impressed with what I saw from Comic-Con with that, by the way. So,
oh yeah?
Like so Sony did a panel. It was Into the Spider-Verse and Venom. And Into the Spider-Verse looks amazing. Like you could read the crowd. The crowd was really into it. Then they showed the stuff from Venom and did their panel, and it was like they hit a fucking wall. Like, just the footage was not good. The panel was, you could tell they were trying so hard to sell this movie, but they know that they can't really sell it in a normal way because you just don't have Spider-Man in it. You don't, like, why, the whole thing, you could tell they were like, how do we do this? What do we do?
Yeah, someone probably asked, it's like, is there Spider-Man? They're like, maybe. You could see him, and it's like, no, he's not. He's not in this movie. And they keep hitting at it. They're like, oh, maybe he's in the movie. You'll see something of him. It's like, at most, it probably, like, what really are they going to have a Spider-Man? Like a comic or like a toy figure?
I don't know, man. I think that this is going to be the second time we're going to see Sony's Spider-Verse crash and burn, to be honest. I just don't see it. I know they made Venom on next to nothing, though. So, I mean, even if it does decent, it will turn a profit, and they will make another one.
Well, here's my thoughts on the Spider-Verse, or Venom, I guess. Matthew Libatique, who is a great cinematographer, does all of Darren Aronofsky's movies and did the first 2 Iron Man movies. He's releasing 2 movies that weekend, and that's Venom and A Star Is Born. And A Star Is Born looks more inspired, more beautifully well shot. And that's from a first-time director. So, as far as Venom is concerned, it's so... My problem with Venom is it just doesn't look that interesting. It doesn't look interesting. And also, there's like a shot in the movie where I guess there's 2 different Venoms are fighting each other. I can't tell which one's Tom Hardy, which one's the other one.
Oh my God, that shot is so terrible. And they showed more of that at Comic-Con, by the way.
Oh my God,
it's fucking terrible. And
I mean, talk about Transformers.
It sounds awful. Like, Venom sounds awful. It's really hard to tell what he's saying. And what the fuck?
Another Tom Hardy character that you can't understand.
And what the fuck is floating down in the, like a turd in the wind? What? That's not a saying. Like, what the fuck are you saying? That's not a thing that anyone says. No one's talking about being a toad floating in the wind, a turd floating in the wind. What the fuck were they thinking?
Turds can't float in the wind.
Right. Oh my God. So no, I'm not excited for Venom, by the way.
And to make it worse, they're making it PG-13, which at this point, why? Why even try anymore? Why? You failed if you make it PG-13. That's not what people wanted.
Down to PG-13 too, from what I understand.
Oh my God.
So they shot it one way, and it was changed after the fact.
My head hurts. Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's not talk about Venom anymore. It'll make my head hurt. So for me, the most exciting. I'm excited for. If Beale Street Could Talk, Boy Erased, Halloween, First Man, the Bad Times at El Royale, Suspiria. That's the one I'm the most interested in. I know it's not getting the best buzz out of Venice, but I'm still interested in what that movie is. I'm still interested in what Luca Guadagnino will bring to Suspiria.
Yeah, I forgot to add Suspiria as well. I think that's going to be great.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I hope it's good I hope it's entertaining at least, because I think Luca Guadagnino could make this work. And what they showed at CinemaCon, or what was presented there, it actually sounds pretty intense and scary. And also I guess we don't really need to talk about the girl in the spider's web. Guess we don't need to talk about that.
No, not really.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I I'll see it. My thing is, Fede Alvarez is 1 for 2 for me. I'm still mad that Fincher didn't get to see this through his own way. I hope that I like Claire Foy, but it again, when it comes to Sony, their questionable calls just like this are just odd to me. I just don't understand why they're going the way they are with it. And it bums me out because I would have liked to see what Fincher would have done with the others.
Yeah. And then to wrap it all up, I'm really interested in Widows, Steve McQueen's new movie. Not only am I a huge Steve McQueen fan, but I really liked Gone Girl. What she did with her own adaptation was incredible. I think Gillian Flynn is one to look out for. I still have not seen Sharp Objects, which I hear is fantastic. But I mean, this fall has basically turned into the fall of Gillian Flynn because of the Sharp Objects and Widows. So, yeah. And then I guess Roma. I'm excited for, but yeah. So, with that, do we have any more thoughts on fall? I know we're running a little over, but do we have any more thoughts on fall?
Nope.
Well, it can't be worse than Venom.
Yeah, it's get it out. Just release it beginning of October and just get it over with.
Yep. Venom, good luck. Good luck. We hope for the best, but I mean, at least it got made. Avi Arad, hey, you got your Venom movie. Now can we move on? Can you move on now from Marvel in general?
Hot tip. The reason it was cut down to PG-13 was because they're really, really hoping that somehow, some way, they'll be able to get Tom Hardy into the MCU and they'll get Marvel's blessing to do it.
That's not gonna happen.
Slow clap.
Yeah.
Whatever. This whole thing is so stupid. It's killing me to even think about it. So anyway, with that said, guys, we've covered the fall and we've covered the summer for 1 hour and 40-minute episode. It was great. So with that said, do we have any more thoughts generally on the rest of the year? Because we haven't done December, but do we have any more thoughts?
I hope it finishes strong because that's just this summer just did not do it for me, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and whoever.
I'm just hopeful. I mean, I think we've got a lot of good movies to look forward to that with First Man and A Star Is Born. We're really getting into the nitty gritty now of a lot of the awards contenders, which is always really fun. Plus, there are some of the bigger blockbusters still. Again, we were talking about Fantastic Beasts and Wreck-It Ralph, Halloween. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff coming out. So I'm really hoping that the fall is more interesting than the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Andy? Hope
so. I'm always hopeful that there's going to be surprises along the way. There's still films that we probably have not, or that we don't even have on our radar that are going to pop up and then do really well, Oscar stuff and all that kind of thing. But we'll just see what happens as it comes.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, starting with Eugene, where can the good people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, Gene9892.
Patrick?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Facebook at PJ_Campbell. And yeah.
Andy?
You can find me on Twitter at The Talking Can.
And you can find me on Twitter at MovieKale. You can also follow the show at the Youth Critic, and then you can also follow the show the channel that distributes this podcast at KHC Network. And also keep an eye out this week on my Twitter feed because I'm about to drop something really cool. I'm working on a project that I'm getting ready to produce, and we're about to drop the GoFundMe for it. And I'll talk about it a little bit more in the future podcasts, but around Thursday, Friday, look at my Twitter feed because I am about to drop something kind of big for myself as a producer. So thanks everyone for joining in, and we'll be back with you next week with The Nun.
Nice.
We will eat both your arms and then both of your legs, and then we will eat your face right off your head. You will be this armless, legless, faceless thing, won't you? Rolling down the street like a turd in the wind. What the hell are you? We are Venom.
Oh, I have a parasite. Yeah. Name is Chen.